welcome back to another episode of our life seasons where we talk about the raw and honest truth to navigating through the different seasons of life. I'm your host Wen. If you've been loving the podcast episodes, do leave a review of this podcast on whichever platform that you're on and let me know which topics are your favorite. Okay, before I get into today's episode, for those of you who are watching me on YouTube or even Spotify, you'll be able to tell that I got a new haircut. Yes, I chopped off quite a bit of my hair and I'm back to short hair now. I'm so happy. I've always wanted to go back to short hair for I think months now, and I just didn't have like the time, or rather I didn't find that time to be able to go to the salon and get it cut. But last week I managed to do it on Friday and I'm so happy that I finally chopped off like a good chunk of it, because to me, I mean, having long hair is just like, I don't know, it just feels so dready. It's like a winter season for me, but when I'm in short hair it just feels summery and I just love it. Okay, so that's just a little update onto today's episode. I think this is a common theme that I see amongst like our life seasons community, and even for myself when I was on my healing journey. I think specifically back in 2023 when I was coming out from a breakup. I know a lot of like our life seasons listeners, you are on your journey of healing as well, from a heartbreak of some sort, or grieving the pain of someone whom you cherish a lot living your life. I know a lot of you must be feeling alone or just lost, and I want this podcast episode to be a companion to you, and also one where it changes the way you treat yourself from now on, okay? Before I dive deeper into the meat of the episode, I want to share my personal story of how I came up with this topic on stop neglecting yourself. Towards the end of 2022, my 4-year relationship came to an end, and just like how majority of the people in this world, I did not know how to deal with it. I did not deal with it very well either, and I spent a huge amount of time trying to get to know myself again, like relearning what I like and dislike, what are my expectations, and learning to set boundaries, which I will talk about it at the later part of this episode. And I just felt like I have lost a sense of my identity and the purpose of my life. I know it may sound ridiculous, but I also know that this is a common process that majority of us have to go through when someone who have been like a huge part of our life leaves us, right? It feels like, we're a newborn again, learning how to navigate life alone. And the biggest part that I found myself struggling was to be able to spend time alone and enjoy my own company. I talk more about this in a lot of my episodes, especially in episode 6, where I talked about how I had to learn the concept of being alone but never lonely. I was never gonna lie, like I was never the person that was able to be alone and sit alone to just even have a simple meal alone. I wasn't able to do that, and I talk about it a lot in my episodes on how I am able to navigate through it and be who I am today, to really enjoy my alone time. It's crazy, okay? Not gonna lie, it was a very long process, but I'm glad I got through it so that I'm able to sit here and talk about it today. One of my biggest realization that I had with my own healing journey, and also the journey that my friends, or even through like the videos that I see of people sharing their stories online, is that the reason why we feel like we can never heal from a breakup or feel better is because we have neglected ourselves so much that we don't know who we are anymore, right? The sense of identity is just being lost. We don't know what we want and what truly makes us happy, and what exactly is it that fuels our passion and soul. When we're in a relationship, or rather when we spend a huge amount of time with someone else, it's very normal and natural for us to just give our time and love and just energy to that particular relationship or that person, that we no longer sit down with ourselves and kind of know what we truly want or what truly makes us fulfilled and happy. Okay, this is very common. I'm not saying that it's the right way of like a relationship, open invented right way, but more of just like, it's just very normal, okay? So we lose this sense of identity, and that is huge. Let's face it, right? Our lives often revolves around other people's schedules, their likes or dislikes. We spend so much energy and time trying to make sure everyone else is comfortable and happy that we forgot to ask ourselves, what do I actually want? What makes me happy? No one else but me. I want to preface by saying this isn't specifically for people who are healing from a relationship, but also generally for anyone who are at the stage where you're questioning your existence and the bigger purpose of your life, okay? You feel like you've lost yourself, or in either like work or relationship, or just lost in the whole process of chasing after your goals, and now you're at this junction of wondering if it's all worth it. We've all been there, okay? If you're nodding your head intensely, or you can relate to what I just said, listen up. I'm dedicating this episode to you, and feel free to share this with anyone whom you think needs to hear this. Alright, so let's get into the main part of this episode. First, I want to talk about the top 3 signs of self-neglect. Like I always say, self-awareness is the solution to anything that you want to change in your life and to start feeling better. So watching your reality shift with your perspective from being self-aware is crazy. Like, let me tell you, if you're self-aware, and when you learn to be self-aware, there's a lot of things that you learn about yourself, and because of that, you're able to shift your reality. Okay, so take this as a checklist. You ready? First sign is that you find yourself resenting others quite a bit. You tend to hold grudges even though deep down you know that you're a nice person. You start to categorize everything into one, and it's constantly saying things like, why is everything going wrong? Why is everyone out to get me? Statements like this are thrown around easily, when you don't prioritize your well-being and happiness. So an example is that you constantly volunteer for overtime or take on extra responsibilities so that your colleague can actually leave work early and spend time with their family members. And then, when you don't get the recognition that you deserve, that little voice in your head will start whispering, why aren't they grateful? Why am I not being promoted? You feel used or taken advantage of, and it's easy to build up frustration that spills over as resentment towards others, and a feeling of bitterness is very obvious and it's very common, okay? That's your subconscious telling you that's something important, and that is you're giving with strings attached, okay? It's okay to expect appreciation, and it's okay that we want appreciation from someone else, but until you start prioritizing your own well-being, that underlying feeling of being taken advantage of won't go away. Alright, so this is the first sign of you actually not prioritizing yourself, or you are neglecting yourself, when you start feeling that you're constantly resenting others and you just kind of categorize everything as like everyone or everything. Okay, now, which stems from the second sign of constantly putting others' needs first, and that looks like, prioritizing others' thoughts and feelings and neglecting your own needs and boundaries, okay? And this may be a subconscious action that you won't even realize that you're doing until you take a step back and notice your actions. Remember, back to self-awareness. This is a form of like emotional self-abandonment where you feel hyper-aware of how others perceive you, neglecting your own needs and desires, which is why you may find yourself constantly feeling anxious easily and wanting to please others and make sure that other people are comfortable, even if it's at your own expense. And you find it really uncomfortable or even wrong to set boundaries, okay? Now, I want to talk about the last sign, which pretty much ties up everything together, which is you constantly find yourself experiencing emotional roller coaster every single day, maybe even occasional breakdowns over the things that won't affect you in the past, but it's affecting you super strongly right now. So this is because when you don't prioritize your own well-being, your emotions become unregulated. The smallest things, and I mean like really the smallest things, can trigger you, and it can manifest as mood swings, irritability, or feeling overwhelmed by emotions, and all these are very, very, very common. So these signs can snowball into a cycle of self-sacrifice and emotional exhaustion. Now, you may be thinking, isn't it selfish to prioritize myself? It's not, okay? Let me tell you this, it's not. It's important to remember that taking care of yourself is never selfish. It's essential for your overall well-being. What's selfish is you trying to please everyone else, not because you genuinely want to. Like it or not, that's what your subconscious is doing, okay? You won't be genuine with what you have to offer, even if you convince yourself that you are, until you start to satisfy your own needs first, until you start to take care of yourself. So the good news is, when you stop neglecting yourself, something magical happens, okay? You start to feel fulfilled from within. You no longer crave external validation. You simply radiate happiness, and guess what? That positive energy is contagious, okay? I swear to God, it really is. People are drawn to those who are authentic and self-assured. Because for me, in my case, when I started to really love myself and to not neglect myself, I realized that people of the same values, people who are really positive, I attract them into my life. And I start to realize that I put myself in a situation, or rather in a group of people that just brings me up, that we just grow together, okay? So honestly, whoever that you're with or surrounded by, it is because of the energy that you're giving off. So think about it. Alright, if you check all these 3 signs, chances of you feeling bad for having all this resentment and unhappiness is very high. I've been there, done that. But look, We all mess up sometimes, okay? I know you're a good person at heart. If not, you would not be listening to this podcast and wanting to change your circumstances. So we push ourselves too hard sometimes, but instead of beating ourselves up, I want you to cultivate some self-compassion, okay? Building self-compassion is all about treating yourself with kindness and understanding. Just like how you would treat a close friend going through a tough time, you would do that to yourself as well. It's the opposite of harsh self-criticism, okay, which can leave you feeling worse and hinder your ability to cope with challenges. So imagine talking to a friend in this situation. What kind of words would you offer? And that is exactly what you're going to tell yourself too, okay? Speak to yourself kindly, the way you would to others. So take this as your first step to prioritize yourself first, taking care of how you feel and see yourself. And with that said, of course, I have to give you some actionable steps to practice self-compassion, okay? Because it's such a huge part of my life, something that I've really learned to be able to be who I am today and to be where I am today, okay? So first of all is to start practicing mindfulness. I talked about my reset routine in episode 45, and I would highly recommend watching the episode if you feel like you're about to hit a burnout, or if you just need help getting back on track and prep for a new week. And that reset routine is exactly the same routine that I'm still on right now. So part of the routine is actually meditation and deep breathing, which will help you become more aware of your thoughts and feelings. Very effective in regulating your emotions, okay? This allows you to actually observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment. So instead of getting caught up in all your thoughts and emotions, you can actually take a step back and see them for what they are when you start meditating and deep breathing, okay? So another important thing is to take note of your choice of words, and this again goes back to being self-aware, okay? First, you need to be aware of when you're being critical to yourself. This involves catching yourself when negative thoughts and emotions arises. So how you choose to describe yourself and the way you choose to talk to yourself directly affects your thoughts, which then leads to your actions and then is manifested into your reality. So once you're aware of your inner critic, you can actually start to challenge it with self-kindness, okay? Treat yourself with the same understanding and support that you offer a friend in need, okay? When you mess up, talk to yourself like you would with a friend. Avoid harsh criticism and focus on supporting yourself and being like encouraging, okay? I want you to start using self-compassionate thoughts like, we're all a work in progress, what can I learn from this, how can I move on from this, and remind yourself that everyone makes mistakes and experiences challenges. You're human after all, okay? We're all human, and suffering is a part of life, okay? I wouldn't really say suffering, but rather just facing challenges is a part of life. It's a duality of life, right? Recognizing this shared experience can actually help you to feel less alone, because like I said, the whole purpose of our life seasons is to make sure that you don't feel like you're alone, because I myself and the rest of the people in this world is also experiencing something similar as well, okay? So we all grow through from the different seasons of life, hence our life seasons. All right, so lastly, of course, is taking care of yourself physically and emotionally, which is very essential for self-compassion. This actually includes getting enough sleep, eating healthy foods, or eating food that makes you feel like happy and just fuels your soul, and engaging in activities that you truly enjoy, not someone else like activities, or rather not someone else's interest, but more of your interest, what you truly enjoy and what truly fuels your soul, okay? Remember, building self-compassion takes practice. Give yourself some time, be patient with yourself, and celebrate your progress, big and small. That is also a form of compassion, right? See how everything is just interlinked with each other? So now I want to ask a very important question, a question that I really had time to sit down and think about it. I want you to really sit and think about it, because this is what made me had the sudden realization of how much I have been neglecting myself. Okay, it's a very powerful one. You ready? When was the last time you took at least 5 minutes for yourself with no distractions to simply do something you enjoy? Maybe it's like reading a few pages of your favorite book, taking a walk in nature, or even just mindlessly doodling. Can you recall that moment? Yup, let that sink in, okay? In our busy lives, me time often gets pushed aside, and it does not only happen to moms, okay? It happens to pretty much anyone, but it's crucial for our overall well-being. So like a phone battery, we need time to ourselves to recharge. Me time allows us to actually unplug from constant demands and unwind from our day-to-day tasks and all the things that are happening around us. That's why I highly recommend relaxation techniques like meditation, again, or simply just Doing calming activities that you enjoy, like reading or taking a long bath. By de-stressing, you'll feel more centered and be able to tackle your day-to-day with greater ease, because when you're constantly on the go, it's so hard to be able to be creative and productive, okay? It's just not possible. Me time actually allows your mind to wander and explore new ideas. It can be a time for brainstorming or problem solving, or simply letting your thoughts flow freely. It's so important. It feels so good whenever like I spend time with myself, and I just feel myself coming up with so much ideas, even for our live seasons or for just interest in general, right? You might be surprised at the inspiration that strikes during this dedicated time for yourself. So like I say, get a notebook ready, because honestly, when you're enjoying your time alone, so many things can happen, like creativity, just thinking about what you want to do in the future. A lot of things you might not have thought of will start surfacing. So get your notebook ready. All right, I want to reiterate this again. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. It's essential for us to build healthy relationships with the people around us. Okay, we got to start practicing having a good relationship with ourselves first before we can start taking care of the relationships that we have with others. Why? Because when you're feeling burnout and depleted, it can be hard to be patient and present with others. And if you want to talk about being selfish, that is selfish, okay? Me time actually allows you to show up as your best self for your loved ones with more energy and emotional capacity. See where I'm going with this? Fill your own cup up first before you can give back to others, okay? If you're constantly giving to others and not taking time to fill up your cup, one day it's gonna be empty and you have no more left to give, and it's not fair if you start blaming others for taking from you, and that's where the resentment part comes in. Okay, so let's make a pact today. Right now, carve out 5 minutes a day for yourself to do what you want to do. Just 5 minutes. Don't tell me you don't have enough time, okay? Not Do what you want to do and not what you think you should be doing or what people are telling you to do. It's all about you. This 5 minutes is about you, what your heart wants and what your soul has been craving for you to do, okay? Take this time for you to reconnect with yourself and your interests. It's a chance to actually explore new hobbies or reflect on your goals and simply just be present in the moment. And sometimes it can just be taking that 5 minutes to sit down and properly breathe. Do deep breathing, okay, from your gut. So this self-discovery can actually boost your confidence and a sense of self-worth. Do something you truly enjoy, okay? Something that brings you a sense of peace or joy. Remember, taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's the foundation for a happier, healthier, and more fulfilling life. Me time isn't a one-size-fits-all concept, okay? This is something that I need to get out there. What works for one person might be very different for another. So the key is to identify which activities or what activities actually truly nourish you, whether it's spending time in nature, exercising, or simply enjoying a quiet cup of coffee to yourself. Whatever works for you, okay? By prioritizing these activities, you're better attuned to your body's needs. So remember, even small pockets of me time throughout the day can make a big difference. You don't have to wait for a full day when you're free before you can start taking this me time, okay? You could always slot in between like your days and don't tell me that your schedule is too packed, even for just 5 minutes of breather, okay? Because I'm gonna tell you straight up, that sounds like bullshit to me. I'll call you out on your excuses and bullshit. Like I said in episode 33, you got to have your own non-negotiables, and if you don't know what they are, give the episode a listen, okay? Episode 33. But anyways, I hope you know the importance of me time and the purpose of it, okay? Protect it and reap the rewards of taking care of yourself. It's very, very important. I can't stress the importance of me time and just being able to enjoy that 5 minutes, that 10 minutes to yourself. If you can have it longer, sure, by all means. But don't wait till you have a full day. You don't have to wait till you have a full day, okay? 5 minutes, just be by yourself, all right? Next, I want to talk about the most tough yet crucial part of prioritizing you, and that is to learn to set healthy boundaries with the people around you, especially people who are really close to you, like your loved ones. One of the questions that I questioned myself was, why do we treat ourselves like leftovers, where everyone else gets first dibs on your time and energy, and if there's anything left over, and maybe, just maybe, we can start taking care of ourselves. Which, if you know, almost never actually happens, because by the time we are done attending to others' needs and wants, we have nothing left to give to ourselves because of how draining it can be to take care of someone else, to just constantly be around people and just making sure that we care for people the way they should be cared for, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. So that got me to kind of learn like the art of saying no, which is a very powerful tool for self-care. But it's more than just uttering like a single word of no, right? It's about establishing healthy boundaries, which acts like a personal force field protecting your time energy, and well-being, okay? If you're not convinced yet, or you find it almost hard to say no to people because you tend to want to people please, which I totally understand, then think of it like this, okay? Think of it like a fridge. If you keep shoving things in without taking anything out, eventually there will be no space for you for what you actually need, right? And nothing can go in, and in the long run, what will happen to the fridge? It will actually lose its main function of keeping things fresh and cold, and eventually it will break down, right? That fridge is you, it's your energy. So be mindful of what goes into it and how you choose to keep it going and keep it working, okay? There are so many benefits when it comes to setting boundaries, and one of them is to prevent burnout, which is such a common thing nowadays, especially if you're like me and you're a high achiever with high standards for yourself. Nothing wrong with that, but there has to be a balance, right? Imagine yourself as a candle. If you keep burning at both ends for everyone else, you eventually sputter out. So setting boundaries actually allows you to conserve your energy for the things that truly matter. You don't have to do it all and take on everything. No matter who or what circumstances the person is in, think about it. If you're consistently depleted, you can't be fully present for the people and things you really care about. So it's important to know that when you're stretched thin, taking on everyone and anyone's request, focusing and getting things done can become a struggle, okay? And you don't want that. Learning to say no to extra commitments actually frees up mental space and allows you to tackle your own task with renewed vigor, and then you'll be able to become more productive that way, showing up as your best self with more patience, enthusiasm, and capacity to give. That's a better way to deal with things, right? Back to the cup analogy, if you were pouring yourself a glass of water, wouldn't you fill it to the appropriate amount and then stop? If you keep pouring, the water would overflow and create a mess, right? So saying no allows you to fill your cup to a sustainable level, leaving space for your own needs and avoid overflowing and burnout. So the next time you actually feel pressure to take on something that would deplete your reserves, remember, a kind, firm of no is an act of self-care, okay? Not selfishness. It paves the way for a life where, you're not just giving to others, but also you're nourishing yourself to make sure that you're able to give back more to people, that people get the best of you, okay? Another obvious benefits is that having boundaries actually improves your mental and emotional well-being. Remember, one of the signs being in an emotional roller coaster all the time is, it's a sign that you're not actually prioritizing yourself. Constant busyness is the cause of it, leading you to feel stress, anxious, and resentment, which is all signs of self-neglect, right? Prioritizing yourself through boundaries creates space for relaxation, self-care, and activities that actually bring you joy. And crazy thing is that it actually helps you to strengthen not only your relationship with yourself, but also the relationship with the people around you. You realize that when you are fulfilled and complete within, others will appreciate your authenticity and respect your time even more because of the way you treat yourself. In episode 38, I actually talked about this concept of how you treat yourself is how others will treat you. You gotta show up for yourself so that you can show others how you want to be treated by the way you treat yourself, okay? This way, you'll foster healthier relationships and more balanced connections. So speaking of respect, another thing you need to know is that setting boundaries actually reflects on how much your values mean to you, and it says a lot about you as a person. And no, this is not a stretch, okay? Saying no to things that contradict your principles allow you to live with integrity, okay? For example, if you value honesty, you might decline a request that requires bending the truth, and being able to stand your ground and show others that you have a strong value and you stand by that is so much, like, I have so much respect for people who do that, okay? It builds a lot of respect that they have for you and keep your people closer to you and filter out those who actually have contradicting values from you, okay? So you can see that there are a lot more, like, obviously benefits that than disadvantages to having boundaries. The only disadvantage or warning that I can think of is that when you set your boundaries, just know that you are bound to piss people off, and that is completely normal. Know that the people who are pissed at you for having boundaries are the ones who have been leeching off you and are benefiting from you not having boundaries. And these people are not your people, because people who genuinely care for you and are there for you will know the importance of having boundaries, because they probably have their own set of boundaries as well, okay? And they're not afraid to put people in their place if anyone attempts to cross their boundary. This is a very good exercise to kind of filter out people in your lives based on how people react to your boundaries. You'll be able to see who are the ones or who are the people that will grow with you and who are the ones that are just there to take advantage of you not having a boundary. It's blunt, I know, it's the truth. I had to learn it the hard way, okay? I know that, saying no can be tough, but it doesn't have to be harsh. Here are some tips, for actually delivering it assertively. Be clear and concise. A simple no, I can't do it now, but thank you for asking is enough. You don't have to go over and explain like why you can't, or all like the nitty-gritty stuff of why you won't be able to help. If you really feel bad, what you can do is to actually offer an alternative solution for them by saying, I can't, but perhaps you could try XYZ. Most importantly, when you're saying no, I want you to focus on your own needs, like, I'm not available today. It's actually more empowering than an apology of, sorry, I would love to, but I can't. Especially if you really don't feel like doing it. Don't feel a need to apologize for listening to your body and prioritizing your needs first. I want to emphasize on the fact that keeping to your promise of having a day of self-care to yourself and prioritizing it is not something that you should feel sorry for or let someone else guilt trip you into thinking that you don't care for the person. Never, okay? Of course, like any tough thing in life, saying no and setting boundaries takes loads of courage, but with practice, you'll definitely get there. Trust me, I was someone that was never able to say no, but right now I can confidently say that saying no is though it's not like something that I am very confident about right now, but there are times where I'm able to say no and just feel like good that I'm actually putting myself first. Okay, it's honestly still a work in progress, but just trust me that with practice, you'll be able to get there. The more you say no to things that don't serve you, the more comfortable it will become, okay? For more boundary settings, apart from like episode 38, episode 31 on It's Okay to Be Single, and episode 32 on Knowing You is a Privilege are two episodes that will be a good start for you when you want to kind of set like boundaries or know how to set boundaries with others, okay? So I hope this is enough reasons for you to ditch the open inverted leftover mentality. By setting boundaries and taking care of yourself first, you actually have more to offer everyone in the long run. It's a win-win situation, okay? I can't do it for you. I can't set boundaries for you. You have to do it for yourself. So please learn to set boundaries. Please learn to prioritize yourself first before you actually really hit a burnout and before you start losing yourself. All right? So as promised, before I end, I want to leave you with this thought. I know you've been through a lot. It's never easy prioritizing others' needs while trying to fill your own cup up first, and you're probably neglecting yourself for long enough that now it's time to be kind to yourself, to prioritize yourself first and not having to feel guilty about it, because when you take care of yourself, you have so much more to give to the world. I want you to know that you deserve to be treated with kindness, and prioritizing your needs is the first step, okay? Imagine the amazing person you'll become when you start putting yourself first and filling your own cup up first. Think about it. Think about how you will actually sound like, how you will act, the way people will treat you, not because you demand for that treatment, but because they respect you so much from the way you respect yourself, and that they just naturally gravitate towards your energy and want to be around you. But they know that it comes with, them adding value to your life and respecting your time and value. Like I said, it's a win-win situation, right? This is so powerful and it's made possible for you. I have no doubt that when you start focusing on what is it that you truly want and what is it that truly makes you happy and satisfied, you'll be able to give back to the world more and allow the world to see that side of you. Trust me, the world craves for you to rise up and be the most fulfilled and fun version of you. That's where, you'll be proud of yourself, of the you that is living out your purpose, and your soul will sing with joy every single day. Trust me on this, alright? That's all for today's episode. I hope this is the episode that you start to question the way you have been treating yourself and be open to having space for you to stop neglecting yourself and start prioritizing your wants and your needs, okay? Knowing that it's never selfish to put yourself first, to love yourself first. Alright, also if you have any burning questions or topics that you want me to cover, please drop me a DM on Instagram at Our Life Seasons, or comment on whichever platform that you're on so that I can actually get back to you. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!